Hey guys, how you doing? It is Abia Grant. Welcome back to another episode of Reflection by Abia. I hope everybody is doing well. So, before we get started with today's episode, guys, I wanted to let you know the episode you are going to hear today was recorded on June 20th. This week it was, well, last week, this week's kind of still, it was my birthday on June 23rd. And typically, you guys know I put an episode out every Tuesday at 9 a.m. But I decided this week to take a week off and just focus on myself and, just be present in my life and just transitioning to 42 years old. So I decided not to put an episode out. Although I had already edited and it was ready to be published. But yeah, so I did want to let you guys know this is a episode that I recorded about 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be discussing about just me turning 42 and what I am stepping into at my age, my 42 years young, and just things that I want to um, do better in my life. And I decided to give you guys like a little list of the things that we are going to be working on for our continuous growth journey. So I hope that you guys do enjoy this episode, and I will talk to you later. Hello, everyone. Before we get started with today's podcast episode, let's go ahead and go over some housekeeping rules. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, be sure to hit the follow notification button so Spotify lets you know when I release a new episode. As well, leave me a comment on what you enjoy about the podcast and give me a 5-star rating. This is how you can support my podcast. And the disclaimer is I am not a licensed psychiatrist or therapist. My suggestions and my guests are based on general knowledge and life experiences. If you're considering making significant changes or dealing with personal issues, seek and talk to a licensed mental health professional. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Blessed Day Reflection by Abia listeners. My name is Abia Grant, and we're here to reflect on our life journey. We will be discussing topics related to self-awareness, self-improvement, and mental health. Also, the purpose of this safe space is for us to be free to discuss the ups and downs, celebrate the wins, and talk about ways to improve the lows. So welcome to this podcast, and I hope you gain something from the time we share together. Hey guys, how you doing? It is your girl Abia Grant. Welcome back to another episode of Reflection by Abia. I hope that you guys are doing well and that you're having a blessed and glorious day. Today is June the 20th. Today is June the 20th. Guys, my birthday is in 3 days. My birthday is on Monday. Today is Friday. I am going to be 42 years young. 42 years young, and I am just happy to be able to make it another year. Happy to just be able to enjoy, just life. And I think, like, well, not I think, I just been doing like a lot of reflecting on my life the past couple of weeks. Actually, I want to say since me turning 40, 41, and even before that. Just, I feel like when your birthday comes around, it's always, or for me, a point where I am reflecting on, my life and just how I've gotten to the place where I am now. And it's, I admire myself. It's like when I look at my life, I'm thinking, whoa, like where I'm at right now, all these things I wanted, and I just didn't know how it was going to come about. But I guess you can say that's when you have to lean on God, and that's when you need to have faith. That means that you have to step in your own walk. And I'm not talking about being, I'm just more so talking about being spiritual and just having that, knowing that somebody is going to make it work for you. And I just remember living in a room back in Brooklyn, no car, no partner, in relationships that were, or no relationship, depending on, you know, what, when it was, what age I was, and just thinking about how can I even get to the next step. And I just remember I was okay. Like I took care of myself, but it's just where I've gotten to now. Although these are all the things that I wanted, I just never really could figure out how it was going to happen. But as I mentioned before earlier, that having faith, having faith, um, trying to, well, not trying to, making the right decisions and pausing to see how things are going to go. I think that a lot of times when I was younger, I was such in a rush and I wasn't allowing for God to make it what He wanted it to be because I was trying to rush through the process. I wasn't sitting back and waiting for Him to align the pieces the way it needed to be aligned. So, like I said, that's just really what I've been reflecting on. And I wanted to talk about in this episode about my birthday, and I wanted to talk about whether when we are on a journey of growth, on a journey of transformation, on a journey of healing, all the things, is this a rebirth? Because I feel like for me, every year my birthday comes, I feel like it's a rebirth of me. It's like, in a way, I could start all over again in my head. I can, and doesn't necessarily mean I have to wait until I turn that next age or that next year for me to actually implement, the necessary changes. But I feel like along with, it turning the new year, when it turns, from 2024 to 2025, so forth, when we go into 2026, it's similar in that aspect of when your birthday comes, this is a rebirth of you. I also want to talk about my transformation agenda for this year, this new year of my life. Now, a lot of these things I have talked to you guys about before. I don't remember if I did a episode like this last year. I don't recall, but I think it's very important to have agenda aligned on what you are trying to achieve or what you will achieve. Because they always say you have to make sure you say it's going to happen, not like I'm going to try, or, you got to be like concrete in your initiative on what you're trying to, what you will achieve. So, like I said, this birthday for me is a rebirth. In my opinion, I feel like God has given me another year of life. He has allowed for me to continue his journey. As I mentioned before earlier, during this period of time, I'm reflecting and I'm eternally thinking about who I want to be, like who I want to become. Like, I feel that not even recently, but just since I've gone through what I've gone through, and even before, we always have this ideal person that we want to be. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to turn out that way, but we have this expectation on who we want to be. And I had this expectation in my head on who I want to be. So internally, I want to be that person. I want to continue to pursue myself, pursue a better me. So, as I said, I listed some transformation agendas for the year ahead, and I want to share these with you guys. I have 5 things that I'm going to be talking about. So, let's go ahead and get into the first one. All right, so I have nurture my spiritual walk, and I have here as surrendering to his plan. To his plan means to God's plan. And trusting that God is guiding my healing and using every challenge to strengthen me and remind me of my true worth. I have to learn how to step more in my spiritual walk and relinquish control and understand that God got this, and put in my faith, as I mentioned before, putting my faith into him and knowing that whatever he has for me is what's supposed to be. And I also want to just work on my healing, my spiritual healing, which I feel like will help with my mental healing as well too. But my spiritual healing in the essence of all the things that I've had challenges with, that spiritually I come to a better, I guess, understanding, but I feel like it's beyond that, like a better sense of dealing with it. And I just want my spirit to be lighter and be healed. And I know it's going to take time. Just it's not just, oh, okay, we're going to do this at 42. I've been doing this for a while on spiritual healing. But this is something that I want to continue to work at, doing a transformation for this upcoming year of my life. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Reflection by Abia. Feel free to check out the podcast Facebook and Instagram page. The links will be available in the show notes. Let's get back to the podcast. The next one that I have is continue to lay down the weight of my past stories and walk in my truth. Freeing myself from the past pain and mistakes so I can continue to move forward in healing and live with intention in the present. I just talked about this. It's crazy that I didn't even remember I listed this as the second bullet point, but I need to be more present in my life. It's very difficult for me not to think about the past, and it's very difficult for me to not think about what's going to happen in the future. But I need to be more weighted in the here and the now and making the right decisions in the here and the now, so that when I do progress forward, things are going to work out. Now, I can't go back, but what I can do is learn from whatever didn't work out at that time. And I could be intentional in my walk right now, or where I'm at, to make the necessary changes for the future. So let's go ahead and get into the next one. making better financial decisions. So I put this in between two other bullet points, but this one, making better financial decisions, needs to be a transformation for me. I have been intentional in my finances for many years, and making sure that I'm saving, making sure I'm doing the necessary stuff. However, I do have times where I fall short, where I'm like, okay, let me buy this, let me do this. And what I am going to be working on this year is finding free resources. Like lately, I've been getting into reading. So I love the feel of a book, but books are expensive. Books are like a good $17 to $20 per book. Sometimes more than that. Like even yesterday, I had went to Barnes and Nobles and I picked up two new books, and that was 30 something dollars for those two books. Now imagine that every single week you're buying new books, new books, new books. So what I did is I downloaded the Kindle app, and I am not listening, but reading the books on there, and then I'm paying a smaller fee to do it on the Kindle app using my iPad and reading the books on there. So I'm still able to enjoy a book. However, I don't physically have it, but I can still read it somewhere. I also download the library app Hoopla, where I listen to audiobooks. It's a free way for me to listen to audiobooks without, purchasing the book. Because in my head, I'm like, I want to buy all these books, but I'm like, no. What other ways can you enjoy this hobby of yours, but still not be using, so much money to enjoy that hobby? This week or last week, the other day, I canceled my gym membership. I was going to LA Fitness. It was 30 something dollars a month, but I wasn't going. They opened up a new Planet Fitness by my house. For that location, it's $15.99 a month. And it's only a few minutes away, so I wind up canceling my membership with LA Fitness, which was maybe 15 minutes away. And now I've opened up my membership with Planet Fitness. And that's $15.99 a month. And I've been going consistently because it's closer to home. So I'm trying to find cost-effective measures. This week also, last week, because I've been going through my finances, I was paying for a music audio subscription. I'm not going to name who it was that I was using for my YouTube channel. And I think, for the podcast as well too. And that was 40 something dollars a month. And I was like, no, I'm not even using the music audio like that for me to be paying 40 something dollars a month. It just doesn't make any sense when I could use YouTube Studio and it's free. I just got to find some songs that I like, but it's free. So again, I had to be more conscious on financial decisions. Like, that's $40 right there, $30 from the gym, $30 for books. How much is that? $70 and $30, $100 a month. That, obviously I'm paying for other memberships, but maybe I'm able to slash that in half. So I'm saving $50 a month that I'm able to apply to my savings, my retirement, and things like that. So I think a lot of times, for me, we don't think about what we are spending our money on. But we need to be more conscious of it. I always say to myself, you're not going to be young forever. You may not be making the income that you're making now forever. So you need to think about the future, plan for the future. So I know I stayed on that bullet point a little bit too long, but I feel like it's very important that I explain in detail what that transformation is going to look like for me. And I'm going to stay, I'm adhere to it. I am going to stick to it. This week, I'm actually going to a bookshop, I guess, thrift bookshop this week. And I am going to thrift for books, for cheaper books. Like, I'm going to be able to still enjoy my hobby, but I'm not going to be buying $20, $30 books. I'm hoping that the books are no more than $2 or $3. I'm hoping, but we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and get into the next bullet point. So I have refusing to let time stop me or stop my creative mojo. All right, so I have here, freeing myself and allowing my creative energy to flow has taught me that it makes me feel alive, aligned, and at peace. It opens up space for authentic self-expression. It helps me reconnect with my true passion and purpose without letting time be a factor. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't have a lot of time on my hands. You hear me when I tell you guys I'm coming on to record the podcast episodes. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. After that, I'm getting ready for work. I gotta go in and do that for 7-8 hours. That's an hour and 15, 20-minute transportation there and back. So that's what? 2.5 hours or 3 hours transportation, 7 hours of work. That's already 10 hours, a day, between work 7 and 3 hours of transportation. 10 hours a day. Then I gotta come home, take care of the home, take care of, my husband. If he needs something, the dog, everybody needs something. I have my little side thing that I do in my YouTube channel to stay connected with, people who want to know what's going on with me. I'm here for the podcast so I could discuss about the things that, again, are going on with me, or things that I feel like we need to address, things that, topics that I think is important that we discuss. So time is a big factor for me. However, I need to transform this and know that I cannot let time stop my mojo. Like I was telling one of my friends on Instagram, I want to do a YouTube channel that I could show the books that I'm reading. But that's going to be a lot for me. Adding another thing to my list of things is going to be a lot. So I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'll keep it simple. I'm just going to post pics or short little clips on Instagram, which I've, if you're going on there, guys, I've deleted like all my pictures off Instagram. I was just in a space and I wasn't really liking anything that I was posting on Instagram, and it just wasn't the vibe. So I just deleted everything. I started to post things about my fitness, but then I was just like, I really don't want to post about that either. So I was saying to her today that I may start posting things about the books that I'm reading, or stores that, I'm going to, that maybe they have inexpensive books or what have you. Just being able to share what I feel is fun, my creative mojo, what I enjoy doing, what brings me happiness. So it's like, I just need to block out time to do that. And I'm going to figure it out, because reading has become one of the things that I have started to recently enjoy. And I've gotten back into it, and I want to be able to share that with other people. It's fun to be able to take yourself out of your current situation, and not saying it's a bad situation. Being able to plant yourself somewhere else through a book. It's one of the most beautiful things. So if you get the opportunity to read, guys, I suggest you to read, please. All right, so let's move on to the last one. Step further into my voice more. Align myself to not feel anxious when communicating what I feel and my values. Being intentional and reminding myself how it feels afterward to embrace my power and my worthiness of being heard. I have a tendency, or had a tendency, still have sometimes, to not want to rock the boat. Not want to rock the boat, not want to face whatever, not wanting to hurt people's feelings. And in that space, clearly, that means that I'm not being heard. My voice is, obsolete or mute. And I don't want to feel that way. I want to be able to verbalize how I feel. I want to be able to be my true me. And I've been able to do that. I've been able to, I guess you could say, change that behavior when it comes to me posting on YouTube, when it comes to me talking to you guys. I think that you have heard changes within me, I hope, because I'm trying to be more just me and just saying what is on my heart and hoping that it's received, with the best way. So I feel like I need to continue to pursue that agenda for myself. And I think over time, that will really help me. That will really help my growth in voicing my thoughts. And anxiety, obviously ties into that, because you do feel anxious. You do feel anxious being able, or you feel anxious when you are trying to speak up. And that's how I feel. Well, not everybody feels that way. That's how I feel. Because I don't know how it's going to be received. Sometimes I build up this is what the person response is going to be, or this is what the outcome is going to be. I always deviate to the bad, and it's not, a lot of times it's not the case. It's not that serious. So, yeah, that is something that we are going to work on for 41, going to 42 on our transformation agenda. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say that I hope this helped. I hope that I have here 5 things. I hope that something that I said is maybe something that you guys notice about yourself, that you wanted to work on for yourself, and or I've brought to your attentions on something that you need to work on. The point of just being here on with me is growth. That's all I want for anybody. Growth for the better. And if something I say can help you along that road, then I feel good about that. I feel really, really, really good about that. And as we continue, or as I continue on my journey and you continue on your journey, for me, and I hope the same for you, is I'm choosing to surrender my, I want to say my life, but me, internally, externally, all the ways to God. and what his plan is, and trust that he's going to heal me, and trust that he's going to release the weight, and trust that, I'm going to be mindful on how I just move. I'm going to be, as I mentioned before, expressing more of my creativity, showing my voice more. And I feel like each step I take, I'm going to be, not I feel, each step I take, I am going to be intentional about it. Staying true to Abia, and just knowing that I'm worthy of all of it. I'm worthy of all of it. So that is what I am thinking about. That is where we are trying to get to, or where we will get to. So I'm going to go ahead and close this week's podcast episode. I do want to end with a quote. As you guys can see, when I do remember, I like to end these episodes with a quote. I used to do this before, when I initially started the podcast, and then I was like, maybe people are not interested. Maybe I was listening to other podcasts and other people weren't doing it. And I was just like, well, maybe it's just, not worth it. But what I reminded myself recently is that this is my stuff. This is what I want to put out. And if I want to do a quote, then I'm going to do a quote. And if that quote can help somebody, because I know it helps me, then that's the point. That was the goal. So this week's quote is, it's not about perfection, or it's not about perfect. It's about effort. And when you bring that effort every single day, I just closed the quote. I'm sorry. Where I left off at. And when you bring that effort every single day, that's where transformation happens. That's how change occurs. You have to put in that effort. Like each day, each moment of my life, just how I even deal with things in my life, I stop and say, what effort am I going to put in this? What am I trying to have the end be? The best outcome. So I'm more so now very conscious of my thoughts, what I verbalize, how I internally process my feelings, all of it and above. So, and I know that I have transformed. Not I think, because I keep saying that. I have transformed. And I'm happy about it. So guys, that is where I'm going to leave this week's podcast episode. Again, I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you've gained something out of it. If you'd like to, you can leave me some happy birthday wishes in the comments. I would definitely appreciate that, to those who, do listen to me here on the podcast. I take all happy birthday comments. So, yeah. All right, guys. So stay blessed out there in those streets. Make sure you treat others kindly out there in those streets. And God willing, I'll talk to you guys in the next podcast episode. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you for listening to Reflection by Abia. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about today's episode, and share the podcast with your friends and family. The link will be available in the show notes.